There's a story that goes like this. A highly successful entrepreneur is asked about his secret to making smart decisions. Without hesitation, he answers, "It's not about the risks I take, but the risks I don't." Sounds simple, right? Yet, the best choices often lie in avoiding the mistakes that others don't even see coming. Smart people don't just avoid the obvious pitfalls. They steer clear of distractions, toxic people, and unnecessary stress. They focus on what truly matters, even when it's hard or uncomfortable. They know that sometimes the most powerful decision is the one not to engage with certain situations, and that's the type of wisdom we'll dive into today. But here's a question to think about. How often do you actively choose not to do something? And how much difference has that made in your life? Are you making choices that align with your highest goals? Or are you getting sidetracked by things that won't truly help you grow? If you're ready to discover the habits and decisions that smart people avoid, stick around. Let's explore how these insights can change the way you approach life. Like what you're hearing? Hit the like button and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more content that challenges the way we think and live. Don't keep toxic people in your circle. One of the most significant Stoic lessons is understanding the impact of the people you surround yourself with. A man once had a close friend who constantly undermined his efforts and dragged him down with negative comments, criticizing every attempt to improve his life. Despite his efforts to explain the toll it was taking on him, this friend didn't change, and the relationship remained toxic. Eventually, the man realized that maintaining this friendship wasn't just draining. It was holding him back from becoming the best version of himself. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the behavior of others, but we can control who we allow into our lives. Negative, manipulative, or self-serving individuals will pull us into their chaos and cloud our judgments. By choosing to keep such people around, we're not only giving away our peace of mind, but we also compromise our emotional and mental clarity. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Removing toxic people isn't about being cruel or abandoning relationships. It's about protecting your own well-being and nurturing healthy connections that support your growth. Sometimes it's necessary to let go of those who are unwilling to contribute positively to your life. Whether it's a friend who never listens, a colleague who constantly seeks to undermine you, or someone who emotionally manipulates you, keeping them in your circle only reinforces negativity. When you choose to distance yourself from toxic relationships, you create space for those who genuinely support your growth, who share your values, and who encourage your progress. Surrounding yourself with like-minded, positive individuals isn't just a luxury. It's essential for your emotional resilience and personal development. Reflect for a moment. Who in your life right now contributes to your growth, and who might be holding you back? Recognizing the difference can be a powerful first step toward embracing a Stoic approach to relationships, one that prioritizes peace, clarity, and personal strength. Remember, it's not about cutting people off in anger. It's about preserving your own mental and emotional health. Don't rush into decisions without clarity. A woman once found herself facing a big career decision. She had 2 job offers on the table, one from a well-established company with a comfortable salary, and another from a startup with immense growth potential, but lots of uncertainties. The pressure to choose quickly was immense, especially with friends and family urging her to make a decision without delay. But instead of rushing into a choice, she took a step back, paused, and gave herself time to reflect. She spent days analyzing the pros and cons, reflecting on her values, and considering how each decision aligned with her long-term goals. Eventually, she made a choice that not only matched her career aspirations, but also her personal values, showing the power of clarity over haste. This story highlights a Stoic truth. Don't rush into decisions without clarity. The Stoics believed in the power of thoughtfulness, patience, and mindfulness when making choices. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Too often, we're caught up in the rush to act, pressured by others, or swayed by fleeting emotions. But true wisdom lies in the ability to step back, breathe, and allow clarity to guide our decisions. Have you ever made a decision in haste, only to regret it later? How often do you make choices under the weight of external pressure without taking the time to think things through? These are moments when our impulse overrides reason, and the result is often dissatisfaction or regret. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate the strength to pause and reflect before acting. Instead of rushing into commitments or changes, take a moment to ask yourself, what is the best decision for my long-term growth? What will help me maintain my peace of mind? By fostering this clarity before acting, we create space for better choices, decisions rooted in alignment with our true values, rather than reacting to the demands of the moment. So, the next time you face a significant decision, ask yourself, are you acting from clarity or are you simply reacting? How could a little more space for reflection change the outcome of your choices? This is where the Stoic wisdom lies, and applying it can bring tremendous peace of mind in every area of life. Don't let your emotions drive your actions. A man once found himself in a heated argument with a close friend. His emotions were running high. Anger and frustration clouded his judgment. His instinct was to lash out, to say things he would later regret. But instead of allowing those emotions to drive his actions, he took a deep breath, paused, and removed himself from the situation. He waited until he could think clearly. When he returned, calm and composed, he was able to communicate his feelings in a constructive way, preserving the friendship and maintaining his own peace of mind. This is the essence of a key Stoic principle. Don't let your emotions drive your actions. Emotions, though powerful, are fleeting. They rise and fall like the tides, but they don't always reflect the reality of a situation. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If we allow emotions like anger or fear to dictate our actions, we risk making decisions we'll later regret. How many times have we acted impulsively in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? How often do we let anger or frustration dictate how we treat others or ourselves? The Stoics teach that emotions, while natural, should not control us. Instead, we must strive for rationality and composure, allowing our thoughts, not our emotions, to guide our responses. It's important to acknowledge that emotions are part of being human. But the key is learning how to respond to them rather than react. In moments of emotional turbulence, ask yourself, what would my calm, rational self choose? How can I handle this situation with wisdom rather than impulsivity? By practicing this Stoic discipline, you'll find that the power to control your emotions and actions lies within you. The next time you feel your emotions rising, take a step back, reflect, and then act with purpose, not in reaction. After all, it's not the emotions themselves that cause harm, but how we choose to act on them. Don't overestimate your abilities or take on too much. A woman once took on a project at work, eager to prove her capabilities. She thought she could manage multiple tasks at once, believing her skills could handle the workload without issue. However, after weeks of juggling deadlines and responsibilities, the stress began to overwhelm her. She found herself spread too thin, unable to focus on each task effectively. By overestimating her abilities and taking on more than she could manage, she ended up feeling burned out and disappointed with the results. This example highlights a key Stoic principle. Don't overestimate your abilities or take on too much. It's easy to believe that we can handle everything, especially when we want to prove ourselves or take on new challenges. But as the Stoics wisely remind us, recognizing our limits is crucial. It's not about how much we can do, but how well we can focus on what truly matters. We've all been there, feeling like we can conquer the world, only to find ourselves struggling to keep up with our commitments. Have you ever said yes to more than you could handle, only to regret it later? The Stoics urge us to be mindful of our limitations and avoid pushing ourselves beyond what is reasonable. Remember, he who is not a good servant will not be a good master. In other words, if we cannot manage our current responsibilities well, adding more to our plate will only lead to dissatisfaction. Instead of taking on everything at once, we can choose to focus on what truly aligns with our values and strengths. Ask yourself, am I overestimating my abilities? What's really important right now? It's okay to say no or to delegate tasks to others who are better suited for them. In fact, recognizing when to step back is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. By embracing this Stoic principle, you'll find that you can accomplish more by doing less, but doing it well. So the next time you're tempted to take on too much, pause and reflect on your true capabilities. Is it worth the risk of burning out, or is it better to focus on what truly matters? Don't ignore the power of emotional awareness in relationships. In any relationship, emotional awareness is often the unspoken key that holds everything together. Imagine a man who's in a long-term friendship with someone who constantly seems to shut down or get defensive whenever the topic of emotions arises. This friend never acknowledges his feelings, nor does she make any effort to understand what's really going on underneath the surface. As a result, their conversations start to feel shallow and disconnected. Though they care about each other, without emotional awareness, their bond begins to fade over time. They both struggle with understanding each other's true needs, which creates distance. This example points to a powerful truth. Don't ignore the power of emotional awareness in relationships. Emotional awareness, both within ourselves and in others, shapes how we connect with people. Stoic philosophy teaches us that emotions are natural, but how we respond to them, especially in our relationships, can either strengthen or weaken those bonds. Recognizing and understanding emotions helps us make better decisions, communicate more effectively, and build trust. As the Stoics would say, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By confronting and understanding our feelings, we stop suffering needlessly. But it's easy to overlook emotions, especially when we're busy, or when we assume others should just get us. Have you ever felt frustrated when someone didn't understand why you were upset, but you never really expressed your feelings clearly? It's easy to blame others for not being emotionally aware, but we have to take responsibility for creating emotional clarity in our relationships. Emotional awareness is a two-way street. By understanding our own emotions, we make it easier for others to understand us. It's tempting to think that emotional awareness is a luxury or something that only comes into play in deep, intimate relationships, but it's just as crucial in everyday interactions. How often do we overlook our emotions in small moments, only for them to build up over time? A lack of emotional awareness can turn minor frustrations into major conflicts. Isn't it better to pause, reflect, and understand what we're feeling before we react? Next time you find yourself in a tense conversation, pause and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Am I truly listening to what the other person is feeling? By taking a moment to be aware of emotions, we can approach the situation with greater understanding and empathy. The Stoics understood this well, reminding us that the greatest wealth is to live content with little. In relationships, emotional awareness might just be the key to wealth that doesn't come in material form, but in deeper, more meaningful connections. Don't rely on luck, build your own opportunities. Too often we hear people say that success is just a matter of luck. But here's the truth. Relying on luck alone is a recipe for disappointment. A woman, for instance, spent years waiting for the perfect opportunity to come her way. She kept hoping that the right job, the right connection, or the right timing would magically appear. Meanwhile, she watched others around her take action, make moves, and create opportunities for themselves. In the end, she realized that the key to success wasn't waiting for luck. It was about creating her own opportunities. This story reflects a powerful principle. Don't rely on luck, build your own opportunities. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the external circumstances around us, but we can control our responses to those circumstances. Waiting for luck to strike is essentially a passive approach to life. Instead of waiting, we can take action, create chances, and build momentum toward what we want. Have you ever felt like you were stuck, just waiting for something to fall into your lap? It's easy to think that others got lucky, but what if the real difference is that they made their own luck? Opportunities don't just appear. They are often the result of hard work, perseverance, and, most importantly, an active mindset. Luck favors those who are prepared and willing to act, not those who are sitting back, hoping for something to happen. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The key here is reaction. By taking ownership of our actions and decisions, we stop waiting for life to hand us opportunities. Instead, we create them through dedication, learning, and taking the steps necessary to move forward. This is where true growth begins. If you're still waiting for a break, ask yourself, what have you done today to build the opportunity you want? What small step can you take right now to move closer to your goal? Don't let luck be your only plan. As the Stoics remind us, the obstacle is the way. Every challenge or setback you face can be turned into an opportunity for growth if you embrace it with intention and action. So, what would happen if you stopped waiting for luck and started creating your own opportunities today? You might just find that you have more control over your success than you ever imagined. Don't neglect your health for success. When striving for success, it's tempting to push ourselves beyond our limits, often neglecting one crucial aspect: our health. A woman once worked tirelessly day and night to build her career. She skipped meals, stayed up late, and neglected her physical well-being, thinking that all her hard work would eventually pay off. Eventually, her body couldn't keep up. She became exhausted, her focus waned, and her productivity dropped. It was only then she realized that no amount of success is worth sacrificing your health for. Don't neglect your health for success. Stoicism teaches us the importance of balance, recognizing that our body is just as essential as our mind. Without good health, even the most brilliant strategies or business plans can fall apart. Success isn't just about hitting goals, it's about having the strength and energy to sustain them. You can have the best ideas and the most innovative solutions, but if your body isn't functioning well, your mind will soon follow. How many times have you pushed through exhaustion, thinking a little more effort would make you successful? It's easy to believe that sacrificing your well-being now will lead to rewards later. But the truth is, this approach often leads to burnout. In fact, a lack of self-care can even undermine the very success you're working so hard to achieve. Success without health is like building a house on sand. It's destined to collapse. Remember, your body is the foundation that supports everything else. Can you truly be at your best when you're running on empty? Taking the time to care for your health doesn't just improve your physical condition, it sharpens your mental clarity and emotional resilience. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and enough sleep aren't luxuries, they're necessities for sustainable success. So, what would it look like if you treated your health as a priority? What if, instead of working yourself into the ground, you scheduled time to recharge, nourish your body, and rest? If you want to achieve long-term success, don't you think your health should come first? As the Stoic philosophers often said, the mind and body are interconnected. One cannot flourish without the other. So next time you're tempted to skip your workout or cut back on sleep to work longer hours, remember, a healthy body leads to a stronger mind, and a stronger mind leads to better success. The foundation of your achievement starts with you. Your well-being is the first step. Don't ignore financial independence. Financial independence isn't just about having enough money to pay the bills. It's about creating freedom and security. Yet, so many people overlook its importance, assuming they'll figure it out later. One man worked tirelessly for years, earning a decent salary but spending as quickly as he earned. When an unexpected expense hit, he realized he had no safety net. The stress was overwhelming, and it became clear that relying on a single paycheck wasn't sustainable. Why do we so often ignore financial independence until it's too late? Isn't having control over your finances the foundation of true freedom? Without it, even minor setbacks can feel like catastrophes. Financial independence isn't about hoarding wealth. It's about creating options. When you're not tied to debt or living paycheck to paycheck, you gain the power to make choices that align with your values and goals. Stoic philosophy emphasizes preparation and resilience. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." This applies perfectly to finances. Waiting for luck to strike, a lottery win, or a surprise inheritance is risky at best. Instead, building financial independence means taking small, consistent steps, saving, investing, and living within your means. It's not flashy, but it works. How would it feel to wake up knowing you're financially secure? It's not just about the money, it's about the peace of mind that comes with it. That sense of control ripples into other areas of your life, from relationships to career decisions. When you're financially independent, you're less likely to tolerate toxic behavior or stay in unfulfilling jobs simply out of necessity. Of course, the journey to financial independence isn't without sacrifices. Cutting back on unnecessary spending or learning to invest might seem daunting. But think of it this way. Every small choice you make today is a step toward greater freedom tomorrow. Isn't that worth the effort? Imagine a life where you're not constantly worried about the next bill or unexpected emergency. What opportunities could you pursue if finances weren't a limitation? As you reflect, ask yourself, are your current financial habits helping or hindering your journey? Building financial independence isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And like any race, it begins with taking that first step. Don't be afraid to seek guidance from trusted sources. It's often said that the wisest people are those who know what they don't know. Yet asking for help can feel uncomfortable, even intimidating. A woman once struggled with a challenging career decision. She debated endlessly and researched tirelessly, and yet she stayed stuck. Finally, she reached out to a mentor she admired. In just one conversation, her path became clear. The mentor's perspective brought clarity that endless solo contemplation couldn't. Why do we hesitate to seek guidance? Is it pride? Fear of looking weak? Stoic philosophy reminds us that even the strongest need trusted allies. Marcus Aurelius himself sought advice from his peers and mentors, demonstrating that wisdom isn't achieved in isolation. Seeking help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a recognition of our shared humanity. Trusted sources provide fresh perspectives, helping us see blind spots we might otherwise overlook. Whether it's a mentor in your field, a close friend, or even a professional, their insights can be the catalyst for growth. But how do you know whom to trust? Look for those who've walked the path you're navigating, those who embody the values you admire. Would you take advice from someone who doesn't practice what they preach? It's also important to approach guidance with an open mind. Advice isn't a directive. It's a tool. You choose how to use it. Remember, a good mentor won't give you all the answers. They'll ask the right questions to help you uncover them yourself. Isn't that what makes guidance so powerful? It empowers you, rather than solving everything for you. And let's not forget the humor in it. How many times have you asked for directions and then ignored them because you thought you knew better? It happens to all of us. But when we set aside our ego and truly listen, we open doors to solutions we didn't know existed. So reflect for a moment. Is there a decision you're grappling with? A problem that's been nagging at you? What would happen if you reached out to someone you trust? Imagine the relief, the clarity, the sense of direction you might gain. Don't let fear or pride hold you back. As the Stoics teach, life is a shared journey. Why walk it alone? As we wrap up, let's reflect on what we've covered. Smart people stand out not just by what they do, but by what they consciously avoid. From steering clear of toxic friendships to cultivating self-awareness, they shape their lives by focusing on habits that foster growth and resilience. By refusing to neglect health, ignoring the importance of financial independence, or hesitating to seek trusted guidance, they create a foundation for a more balanced and fulfilling life. Each choice builds on the next, and the power lies in consistency. When you apply these lessons daily, you'll notice not just a shift in your mindset, but also in your relationships, your emotional resilience, and your overall confidence. What habits are you already practicing, and what could you improve starting today? Your perspective matters. How do these ideas resonate with your life? What lessons have you learned along the way? Share your journey in the comments and inspire others in our community. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more wisdom that blends timeless philosophy with practical guidance. Together, let's build lives rooted in intention and authenticity.